Hi, we wanted to let everyone know that we took down our video, made some minor edits, and we're putting it back up. Reason being is I was wearing a shirt that was from 2014, something I was involved in Los Angeles, but it looked like it was saying something about U.S. politics today, and it wasn't. But we didn't want to confuse anyone or for anyone. We have no intention of talking politics on this channel. So we thought it just better if we just blur out or remove any references on that t-shirt. So just so you know, if you are watching this video for the second time or are going back to this video for some reason, it has changed, and that's why the shirt I was wearing had nothing to do with today's politics, but it definitely looked like it did, and we wanted to be very clear that it was, like I said, from 2014, related to something that went on in Los Angeles at the time, I think in all of California, but in Los Angeles, and had nothing to do with the U.S. politics today. So we had an interesting week this week, and I'm watching the surroundings very carefully as I tell you about it. So I was weeding and laying the weeds down here to fertilize where we had planted the trees, and then I went to walk the dogs, the puppies, and I've been walking them in a circle because Punky hasn't wanted to spend time in her pasture. So some days I've made her go in there, but some days I just walk them for a good long walk. So that's their pasture right over there, and the chicken area, and here is where I grow the grass that I've given to the sheep, and here is where the food forest is. So I do this big loop around, and everything was a little overgrown, and that grass is very high, partly because I want to replant it here and use it as a chop and drop for the food forest plants, some of which are not doing so well. But anyway, so I was walking through here with the puppies, and we got chased by a crazy aggressive lizard. My camera went off on me. The lizard was over 1 meter long, I think. And all I saw was tail and head. I didn't see the legs. And I had to look up, like, I asked, would a snake chase you? Because I didn't think so. And they're like, no. So even the quote-unquote aggressive snakes are only aggressive if you're right on top of them and they have no way to get away. But there was a lizard in those grasses, and it chased Punky, Lulu, and I. Me, of course, screaming and running, and the dogs freaking out because I was screaming and running. And we ran, so it was over here. So we ran, because the direction we were going was this way, and we ran to go through their pasture, and I couldn't get the door open, and the thing was coming up to us, or close enough. I had enough time to turn around and run back up the hill here into the other pasture. So it seems, based on what I could find out, it wasn't an iguana. I knew that. And iguanas aren't aggressive like that. They're kind of like a snake. If you come up on them, they can be aggressive, but you have to be really close. This thing chased us. It literally chased us. So for the next few days, I didn't do anything back here. I didn't come back here. I stayed away. So I didn't get a lot done outside this week. And I mostly puttered around the house. I cleaned a little. What else did I do? I cooked some extra things, made some extra like condiments and stuff. But I didn't come back here. And then yesterday, Ulysses and his helper cleared all of this. They used a trimmer and a machete, and they cleared most of the stuff. So it's much more visible. So Ulysses asked me if I wanted him to cut down the grass over here, and that's where the lovely lizard was. And I said no, because I'm trying to grow that so I can move it over to the food forest over there to use for chop and drop. So hopefully we'll do that tomorrow. But back to the animal. So I had to look up online because I had never heard anyone mention this giant lizard that was going to chase me. But I believe I found the lizard. It looked just like what was chasing us. And it's called a tegu or a tegus. Originally from Argentina. They are here in Panama. It was black and white, and like I said, it was just huge, and it was aggressive. So I now know what to look out for. I knew there was something over there. Like when Punky was afraid of the pasture, I knew there was something on the other side of the door digging, because I had seen digging, but I figured, oh, maybe it's like a possum or an anteater or an armadillo, although armadillos dig deep holes. And they weren't deep holes. They were little, not even holes, but spots where they were dug up. They must have been digging for insects. And then Ulysses pointed out, I'm not going to walk over there now. Oh, maybe I will. There was a trail where it had been coming and going from right next to that food forest. There's a pasture that is not mine. And it's really, it's not even a pasture, it's really a forest area where they've let the natural trees grow again. But meanwhile, I'll show you this. I have a beautiful cleaned up pasture now. But we are going to keep our eyes open a little more to make sure that we see the lizard next time before it sees us. And yes, they're known to be aggressive. They're also known to make good pets, so I don't understand that. I'm told they could eat my chickens. I don't think it can get in through the chain link fence, and it hasn't gotten any of the chickens yet. Although I think it may have gotten something, may be what's getting the eggs, because that's where I've seen eggshells on that side where it's been. So I'm not sure. But anyway, it kept me from doing anything on that side of the farm. And so I don't have too much to show you today, but I have a little bit. One of the things is our covered garden is holding. It seems very sturdy now. I have planted seeds in there. I haven't seen anything coming up yet, but it's been not too long. I have to do a better job of sealing up this side because the wind is kind of blowing it open. But I've not seen many bugs in there, although I see one in there right now. But if I can keep just the grasshoppers out, that would be great. So the next thing we did this week is trellis the nyame. It's not all trellised, but it's a lot of it's still quite young. So this is nyame, and it is a climbing vine, but it's a true sweet potato. So it's nyame it's a true yam, not a sweet potato. It's a true yam. And they can grow anywhere from a couple of pounds to up to like 60 or 80 pounds. And these should be big ones because I only dug out about 3 of them this past year. And I have, I think, between 15 and 20 growing. I was hoping for 20 because I plan on using them a lot more this year. And I figured that'll give me 1 every other week. And 1 will last a couple of meals. I can do different things with it. Typically, they use it in soup, is the biggest use of it. But you can also make a puree, like a mashed potato. It's not the same as mashed potato, but it's similar. And I have used it diced up in Asian cuisine. So if you're making a meat, like an Asian style, I did Asian style pork belly. and I threw it in there, and it doesn't have a lot of flavor of its own, but in something like that that has a really good flavored sauce, it picks up a lot of that flavor. So it was delicious in that, so I'd like to use it more in things like that. Probably would go perfectly well in a curry in place of potato, so that kind of thing. So they are climbing up the vines, some of them. Some of them are not yet doing that, but we may need to put some more vining, sticks here to help them out. But we have a ton of them. And like I said, I marked some of them with the flags. I may come out and mark more of them, just because last year, part of the reason I didn't harvest a lot is because they died back suddenly. And I had this area completely overgrown, and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find the vines once they died back. So this way, for example, right here, I know that if I dig here, I have this stick here, and that's where the vine's coming out. So I know if I dig there next year, I should find one. So I think I'll end up putting out a lot of these flags, but my yard will look a little silly. But also that way, whoever comes to cut the grass over here, they'll probably trim it with a machete, but that way they'll know exactly where to trim and where not to trim. More importantly, where not to trim. My bananas are still have a fungus. None of the bananas over here produced this year, so I don't know if they have the fungus, but all the banana trees in the chicken pasture do. So I thought I was gonna have a ton of bananas, and I have almost nothing. So we're gonna take those down at some point this year, and next year maybe plant a different fruit, because there's so much fertility in there with the chickens that I should have something. Plus the chickens do need some trees to give them cover from some aerial predators, so that's helpful for them. I do have my pineapples marked, but that was done previously. I'm trying to think what else. I planted my fig tree, and I planted that in the yard instead of in the food forest, because it's a dwarf fig tree, and I didn't want it to get lost. Figs need a lot of sun, and I figured in the food forest it would just get lost. So it is planted in the middle of my yard. It's doing well. It's tiny, but it already has some fruit. If you could see right there, a few. So we'll see if we actually get ripe fruit from that. And what else did we do this week? We planted the fig tree. We put up the nyame trellises. Oh, we found a cacao tree. I'm going to take you over to the cacao tree and show you what we did there. But before we go to the cacao, let me show you right next to the nyame. We have my cassava. I am going to plant more cassava on the other side in the food forest, but we did dig one up and it looked great. And when he dug it up, he planted some more around it, here and here. So hopefully we'll continue to grow some. It looks like he cut a bunch of this down. I don't know if the guys took some home with them, but I have one in the kitchen. So while they were trimming the grass in this pasture, they found one of my cacao trees. I had planted 4. They were given to me as a gift from a friend, and the sheep ate them twice. So we have this one little cacao trying desperately to grow, and we have tried to protect it. This is pretty darn sturdy, so this should keep the sheep away from it. And we'll see how it goes. I cannot find any others. So that we did yesterday, protected that one. My dogs are freaking out because there are mice in there and they want them. They put something over here because I think they saw something growing. But I didn't have cacao there. I might have had a mandarin orange tree over here, but I don't see anything. So either they cut it and then realized they cut something they shouldn't have, and we'll see if it comes back for the 3rd or 4th time, and then protect it from the sheep as well, or they just thought there was something and there wasn't. So there were 2 more cacao trees over here. They're definitely gone. There was 1 more over here near this one. It seems to be gone, but we're gonna keep our eyes out, see if they somehow manage to come back as well. I don't think if we don't see them now, we will. But that we did this week, protected the cacao from the sheep, and that's really it. I really spent the week hiding from the, whatever it was, Tegu, something, Tegu, I don't know. So we don't have much to show you this week. Everyone on the farm is doing great. The chickens are doing great. I have their door of the baby chickens working, but I haven't thrown them outside. The ducks are getting bigger and bigger, and they're doing great. Oh, another thing we had to do yesterday was Punky got under the fence from the pasture and into the chicken area, went after 2 of the chickens, and then went after the duck. I was so terrified because I was chasing her at that point, and I didn't see the baby ducks, and I thought, oh my God, she already got them. They had all gotten away. She had run in, I think she may have run in to get the ducks food because she loves grain if she can get it, and then decided to chase the duck. Meanwhile, the babies, 4 of them were hiding, but on the other side of the chain link fence, and 2 of them had run through 2 chain link fences and were with the other ducks who were pretty well secure. So they all survived. The chickens were fine. She grabbed at least 2 of them. But I don't know if she's trying to really get them or just wants to play with them, but she's not yet hurt one. I know she can, but she hasn't. So yesterday we spent some time looking for where she got through and then fixing the fence. It's very secure, but I only left the puppies in the pasture for like, I think less than an hour today. So that's it on the farm. The sheep are right here. It's been thundering a little, and so they are hoping to get to their shelter before the rain starts. That won't happen unless it doesn't rain till this evening. I usually let them in their shelter when the rain starts because I've let them in too early, and they have so much food over here. I just opened up that back pasture for them, so they have plenty of food. They are adorable. And that's it for this week. Don't have much to show because, like I said, I was hiding in the house most of the week. But I'm back out. I feel pretty secure on the farm again. And so we should have more to show you next week. But for now, please, if you can, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to follow along as we homestead here in Panama, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. We'll see you next week. Bye.